Hey there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel. In this episode, I'm going to be redoing some of the things I talk about for the Arachnid armor and weak points. So this is going to, replace my original video. So this will be like version 2. For those of you that are new to the channel, or you haven't seen any of my gameplay tips primers video, this is going to be part of a series where I'm kind of like fine-tuning what I have in preparation for the October 11th release in 2024, which when I'm going to release this video is going to be about 1 month from then. Okay, so what I want to go over now is information about the bugs, be the armor and the weak points, as well as parts of the bugs that have no armor on it. And then towards the end of this presentation, I want to go over this damage chart, what armor is and what the armor piercing information means and all that. So let's just take you through the first part here. So, in order to defeat the bug, you must first know the bug. It's very important that pay attention to these parts here because it'll allow you to eradicate the bugs much easier. So, the first one that we're going to be going over together is the Inferno. So for those of you that don't know what the Inferno is, this thing is like built like a tank. This thing will shoot a fiery projectile from this part of the Arachnid, and then what this does is that it launches this large fiery projectile that will deny a large portion of the area. And it'll just set things on fire, basically. This thing's incredibly hard to destroy, so you're going to need to work with the team to destroy the Inferno. Okay, so same image, same bug, but what's going on here is that this color here that I'm highlighting, this bug in, that's going to be where there's no armor. So the part of this bug that has no armor is going to be pretty much the face here. I have confirmed this. It doesn't show any armor indication when I shot here. But something I still haven't confirmed for myself, but what the community says is that the bottom of the Inferno is also no armor. But most of the times it's going to be incredibly hard to hit the Inferno in the face and underneath it. It's always going to be super flat and low to the ground. And as soon as you approach the Inferno within a few meters, it's going to cover its face up, so it's going to be extremely hard to even hit it at that point. So yeah. Also, for the slides that have information on no armor points, I'll include a little bit of information here. And the armor, no armor, and weak point spots will be colored in this green color here. So apologies if you have a hard time seeing green. I was trying to work around the other colors, and this seems to be the one that shows up pretty clearly, or for most of these images. I'm also red-green colorblind, but not the same as everyone else, because I guess I'm just a little different. But that's a little tangent there about the coloring. Okay, so this is the Inferno side profile. It's just what it looks like when you're viewing it from the side. I don't remember hearing or seeing that this is like an armor point. So that's something troopers will need to figure out in the field. Kind of hard to get around the backside of this thing because it'll constantly do its best to like keep its front facing towards you. So I don't really have too much information if there's armor or not here. You'll need to confirm that. Alright, so here's the Inferno, but as we can see, the whole thing is just pretty much covered in armor. The health is incredibly high too, so again, you're going to need to work with the team to destroy this menace. Okay, so the Inferno weak point, there's only one. The weak point will only be exposed when this part of the bug opens up. So this little bulb will be it's like this red glowy color, and it only opens up this part when it's about to shoot to fire a projectile. You'll have anywhere from a few seconds to maybe 4 or 5 before this thing closes off, and then you have to wait again until it's ready to shoot. Moving on to the Grenadier. So this is what it looks like. For those of you that don't know what the Grenadier does, this thing basically just launches a plasma projectile at you. It's kind of like a large mortar. For anyone that's played Halo, this is the equivalent of the Wraith. So the Grenadier and the Inferno, which you can see here, they're going to like to hang out pretty far away from other troopers. These are considered like the artillery bugs, artillery support bugs, and their health pool is incredibly high. So you'll need to work with the team to destroy both the Grenadier and the Inferno. So for the Grenadier, it actually has no armor. This will be the neck and the head, which you can see here. So if you happen to shoot that point there, it's going to deal like normal damage. So the Grenadier has some armor points. It'll be the legs. This is kind of like mid-torso section. When the canopy is closed, this is going to be considered armor. Now, the kind of weird thing is when I did get pretty close to the bug, even though the canopy is closed and this part's still exposed, I shot at this part and it's still registered as being armor. Not sure if that's like supposed to be some kind of bug like issue or not, but it's worth noting here. Now the Grenadier weak point. So the Grenadier only has one weak point, and it's this like large bulb area here. So just like the Inferno, like these flaps will open up right before a projectile is launched. So when it opens up, the weak point is exposed, so definitely shoot at that part here when it's open. This is just another screenshot of what the weak point looks like. And just like the Inferno, you'll have anywhere between 3 to 5 seconds to shoot the weak point. Alright, moving down the line of the projectile-based bugs, this one's going to be the Gunner. So for this bug, for those of you that don't know what it is or what it does, you can consider this bug as like the sniper or like the marksman for the bugs. This thing's pretty deadly. It likes to target engineers and snipers. I'm pretty sure it's just like coded to be more aggressive to those classes. And this thing can shoot pretty fast, pretty accurately. So if this bug is shooting at you, definitely want to take some cover. And after probably like a few seconds, they'll like move on and look for another target. But definitely seek shelter when this thing is targeting you, because you'll die pretty fast if you don't do anything. Okay, so the gunner does have an armor point. I confirmed that this little top part here is the armor point. I don't think the legs are considered like armored. Neither is this, at least from what I can tell. I could be wrong about this part here. But when you kind of highlight it like this, it kind of looks like a little party hat. Okay, so the gunner weak point, it has two of them. It has one on either side, so these kind of like red sacks, that's going to be where the weak points are. So definitely aim for this whenever you can. Okay, so here's the Bombardier. This bug's crazy. It does have an armor value of 1, but I don't see any like indication, like, you know, any armor indication when I do shoot at it. Most times this thing is gonna explode in like 1 to 3 hits. Let me see if I left any notes here. Can be killed in 1 to 3 shots. So for those of you that don't know what this bug does, it's essentially kind of like a mini artillery bug where like it rolls around in the field, and it's pretty fast when it rolls. But once it reaches its intended destination, it likes to jump up in the air, maybe a few meters in the air, and then it'll detonate. Well, then it'll either detonate midair or it'll like just jump down on the ground and then it'll detonate. Keep an eye out for an auditory cue, because there will be a large crackling electric noise as it's uncurling. After that's done, it's going to explode. And then anything within a close proximity will be 1-hit kill. So watch out for this bug. It's pretty deadly. It likes to target guardians, and it likes to target engineers. So just keep an eye out for this thing. Make sure you destroy these as soon as you can. I also like to go back and talk about the Grenadier, because I did forget about this. The projectile that this thing shoots, it's very deadly. It's going to be a 1-hit kill for anything that's in close proximity. Even if you kind of a little bit far away from the explosion, you'll get damaged. So definitely look up in the air for any blue orb that's being launched at you. So, you know, just keep an eye out for it. You should be able to easily dodge it. You just need to work on your environmental awareness. You know, keep track of where this thing is. Yep. So that's the Bombardier for you. That's all I had for this bug. It's fairly easy to defeat because of low health, but at the same time, it's going to be very hard to hit because it's just so tiny. Moving on to the first melee-based bug, which is the most deadliest of them all. This is the Royal Guard. So for those of you that don't know the Royal Guard, this thing typically defends a hive of eggs, but occasionally you'll see this roaming about in the field. Now, one thing I want to let everyone know is that these melee-based bugs, these warriors, and the warrior variants, They have this like large pair of mandibles that open up vertically, and the weak point will be right in the center there. Now, typically, when this thing's running at you, it's gonna like it's gonna point the top mandible towards the ground in order to protect its weak point. So when you shoot at these bugs, typically they're gonna like flinch and or kind of lay down on their side for a second. Take advantage of that and shuffle left or right, and you'll see the weak point, which we'll go over in just a second. But the Royal Guard is extremely dangerous. It moves fast. It can one-hit kill multiple troopers, and this thing does an incredible amount of burst damage to any structure and any trooper that it comes across. Health pool is also very high, so you're going to need to work with the team to eradicate this one. So for the Royal Guard, this thing is pretty much encased in armor. All the main pincers are going to be armored. I couldn't confirm if the limbs themselves were armored or not, but definitely the mandibles and the carapace, or I should say the torso of this bug, is also encased in armor. The weak point is going to be in between the top and bottom mandibles. So this screenshot came from Offworld's website for this game. So what the weak point looks like is that once the mandibles open up, there'll be like this inner mouth piece and like a set of eyes. So when you shoot here, you're going to be dealing bonus damage to the bug. So take advantage of this. This will be exposed right before it's about to land a hit on a trooper. So you have a limited amount of time to lay down some critical shots on the bug. And by that time, you're probably going to die, because this thing will one-hit kill you. So that's just a little bit of information to throw out there. Also, you can see a part of this weak point when you shuffle left or right of the bug. And this is often called the nerve stem. So for all these warrior melee bugs like this, people are going to often refer to this as the nerve stem instead of like the weak point. So it's just some jargon for you, just in case you don't know what that is. This is another screenshot of what the nerve stem looks like, or the weak point. You can kind of see it a little bit more on the side. And this is what these bugs look like when they're kind of like stunned or like staggered. They'll kind of lay down on one side a little bit, and then that'll kind of open up the weak point. Alright, moving on to the Tiger. This is the next warrior variant. This bug is massive. It's not as big as, say, the Royal Guard. The Royal Guard is also pretty dang big, but the Tiger is just a little bit smaller than that. So, good luck if you encounter any of these things. So the Tiger, just like the Royal Guard, it can also one-hit kill multiple troopers. It can also deal a significant amount of burst damage to structures. So you want to, kill this one as fast as you can. The health pool isn't as high as, say, the Royal Guard, but just like the Royal Guard, it can deal a lot of damage at one time. Now, typically both the Royal Guard and the Tiger move pretty slow, but depending on the difficulty mode and the mutators, it can change how this bug behaves. I can give it additional move speed or additional health or additional damage or decreased health. But that's something you need to keep an eye on when you're loading into a game. Alright, so for the Tiger, this thing is pretty much covered in armor. All the legs, pincers, mandibles are covered in it. And here's kind of like a clear picture, you know, what the nerve stem will look like. Like a tiny little mouth here, and a set of eyes. I also like to go over this other part of the bug that's armored. So you might have noticed that, like, you know, there's like this top carapace and this bottom part that's also covered in armor. So if you're up above the Tiger and you shoot at this part, you're going to be hitting armor. This thing's just covered in it. Here's a side view of what that looks like. So this is the carapace and these are the mandibles. And here's a side profile view of what the nerve stem looks like. For the Tiger, it only has one weak point, which is the nerve stem here, just like all the other warrior variants. So try your best to hit it here. Here's a side profile view of what the Tiger weak point looks like. Sorry if you can hear that, someone's just honking their car horn relentlessly. Okay, so just in case you didn't hear that, this is the side profile view of what the weak point looks like. Okay, so we're moving on to the standard warrior. This thing is, you can consider the normal bug that you'll see pretty much in any game mode. This thing is fast, agile, and deadly. Depending on the game mode, difficulty, well, not the game mode, but like the difficulty modifier and the mutators, this thing could potentially one-shot you as well. Also, the warrior, there's also another variant of it called the fire warrior. It looks exactly the same like this one, except that instead of like yellow stripes, it's going to be like orange, red, lava looking stripes and patterns on it. But their behavior, armor, and weak points is essentially the same, so I'm just going to focus on the warrior. So yeah. Okay, so here's where the armor points are for the warrior. Just like the Tiger, this thing's just encased in it. Limbs, pincers, legs, mandibles. The warrior weak point, it's only one, so it's going to be a nerve stem again. So it's going to be right in the center. So do your best to try to hit that thing. Okay, actually, before I do the drone, I want to also mention that like all the big warrior variants, like, you know, the Royal Guard, the Tiger, the Warrior, the Fire Warrior, they also have this like action where they can lunge at you. Similar to, if anyone's played Halo, the sword lunge. So when these bugs charge at you, they're going to lunge at you, and they're going to cover a large portion of the field, kind of like a dash, and then they hit you. Kind of hard to break the charge or this lunge, so, you know, good luck. The bugs are deadly. Okay, so officially moving on to the drone. This thing's pretty tiny. It's probably gonna go up to, like, you know, someone's knees. With the drone, for those of you that don't know this bug, it's gonna be pretty common. You can consider it to be like cannon fodder. They're plentiful, but they don't deal a significant amount of damage. They're there to just kind of get in your way. Oops, I didn't have any more slides for it. Let me go over it now. So for the drone, let me check. Do I have notes? So I have notes here that says the legs may only be the only armor that the drone has, but typically the health for a drone is so low, it's so small that you're going to be able to one-shot this thing pretty reliably. So one shot typically will kill the drone. Okay, moving on to the damage chart. So for this slide, I extracted a lot of links and stuff from so from the website that Offworld has for this game. So part of it comes from this link here. If you want to find out the exact armor value for each bug, you can go to this link right here. What that looks like is if you're using Chrome, it should take you here automatically to where I highlighted this. But what this looks like is they'll give you armor value for each bug. And in some cases, they'll show information of the changes they made to the health pool. The damage chart that we're about to go over can be found in this section, all bugs. Weapon bonus damage can be found in the Federation Armory section. So what that looks like is that the developers gave some information about stat changes, but they also mention weak point damage modifier or multiplier. So for example, the Marita Mark 1, if you hit something in the weak point, that's going to be multiplied by 1.5 or whatever damage you're dealing. So it'll be 1.5 times 52.5, I assume, per projectile that you land on the weak point. But I'm not going to go over every single thing here because I'll be just taking too much time away from the meat and potatoes of what I want to do for this video. But definitely check it out. There's a lot of good information there. There's also weapon bonus damage for FMJ and hollow point ammo types, and that can be found in the ammo types section. Armor and weak points are explained in further detail in this link right here, so definitely check that out. I'll just kind of go over that here. Okay, so let's talk about armor. So whenever you hit something that's encased in armor, you're going to be dealing less damage, right? That's what armor does. And whenever you hit a weak spot, you're going to be dealing more damage, right? Because it's an exposed area that has no armor. But how does this all work, right? So let's first take a look at the top portion here. What this top chart will be going over is like the easy and normal difficulty modifiers for the game. So top row and first column is like the armor piercing value. Or top row is going to be the armor value and the first column is going to be the armor piercing rating. So if it's 1-to-1, meaning armor piercing is 1 and armor value is 1, you're going to be dealing 100% damage. It kind of nullifies each other. However, if you have armor piercing 1 going up against something with armor value 2, you're going to be dealing 75% of your damage. You'd be dealing less damage. Okay, so armor piercing value of 1 going up against armor value of 3, you're going to be dealing 50% of your damage. Armor piercing 1 versus armor value of 4 and 5, you're going to be dealing 25% damage. So as you can see, you want to try your best to hit the weak points, because the armor, it really mitigates how much damage you're going to be dealing to the bug. So if you have something that has like a really high armor piercing value going up against something that has like a lower armor value, you're going to be dealing some, like, normal damage basically, up until like you get to the last part here. So that's for easy and normal difficulty, but what about on hard difficulty? So okay, we'll start just like we did on top here. So the top row is going to be the armor value, and the first column here is going to be the armor piercing value. Again, if it's 1-to-1, you're going to be dealing 100% damage. No issue, right? However, if you have armor piercing of 1 going up against the armor value of 2, you're going to be dealing 55% of your normal damage. Armor piercing value 1 going up against armor value 3, you're going to be dealing 40% of your damage. And then armor piercing value of 1 going up against armor value 4 and 5, you're going to be dealing 25%. So as you can see on hard difficulty, the armor is going to be mitigating a lot more of the damage. So which you can see here as you're going further down the chart. So that's kind of like how armor mitigates damage for the Arachnids. So this is here for those of you that really want to play around with the numbers and figure out how all this stuff works. But the main takeaway is that try your best to develop your aiming skills and aim for the weak points, because you're just going to be dealing more damage to the bug, and what that means is that they'll die faster and you'll live longer. So when you're starting out the game, first few rounds, you might have a hard time doing that, and that's totally okay. It'll just take a little bit of time for you to get used to all the gameplay mechanics, how things are moving, and yeah, that's about it. And hopefully this helps you understand the bug a little bit better. So this is Random Game Channel. Thank you for your time checking this out. Don't forget to check the links out and the notes in the presentation. Hope it really helps you out. But that's it for this episode, and I'll see you in the field, troopers.